Stand. Please do be seated. It is my privilege this morning to welcome each and every one of you here to Stoke-on-Trent College. I'd like to greet particularly the Deputy Lieutenant of Staffordshire, who is here with us today, representing Her Royal Highness Queen Elizabeth. As we gather here this morning, we are called to do so, for we are challenged to remember. It is not an easy task. Why? For we are asked to draw up from the past times that have affected many, many people right across the world. And our remembrance is not in vain. It is done so that we can recognise that which has gone on before and also that which we have yet to do. During this service, you will see many things take place, many things read and said. And what I ask of each and every one of you is that in the moments that we are called to be quiet, in the moments that we are called to reflect, we do so. We all, in some way, shape and form, represent the span of many nations. And the fact that we can gather here in some degree of peace is a testament to the hope that rests in each and every single one of us. But the tension between peace and the conflicts that we are remembering is ever so present. Hence why we are challenged, therefore, to remember in earnest, to remember profoundly, and to remember deeply. The words often used, lest we forget, is never so true when we're so used to forgetting. The words, we shall remember them, become weak when we don't. Now, some of us here may think, what do I have in connection with a past that may have nothing to do with me? Some of us here may ask, why are we bothering at all? But the reality is thus: if not for that which has gone on, we would not be here. If not for those men, women, and many children as well, who pushed the boundaries of their lives, some, as we will remember today, actually losing them, we would not be here. And so where does that leave us? Where does that leave us with our individual stories? Where does that leave us with our challenges today? We do not forget, for we always have to remember that we are susceptible to repeat that which has gone on. And each generation has an onus upon them not to do so, because our ability to destruct and to destroy each other is greater than it's ever been in human history. So if we do forget, We will devalue that which we are, and will never rise up to be the people we all can be. So that is why we remember. And it's not easy. For there are people here who sit amongst us who have lost friends. People here who sit amongst us who've seen horrors some of us may never see. But the irony is that war is never just left to the foreign fields, because it happens in our homes, it happens in our schools, it happens in our institutions, it happens on our streets. War is never left to some other, because most of the time, for me, it happens within right here. And the challenge to remember is to remind us, as one songwriter beautifully said, how can we have peace in the Middle East if we can't have it in our own home? It begins with us. We hold the future as much as we pierce the present, but we must learn from the past. And that is what we do on this very day. We draw from the blood of those who have fallen, from the tears that have been cried by those left behind. We draw upon their stories and upon their words to puncture sometimes that which we tend to not remember. Let today be a point of hesitation. Let today be a point of remembrance. Let today be a point where we take a breath and we do not forget. Because as we look to the past, we allow the present to be punctured so that we can go into a future where the hope of who we are is in each and every single one of us. That is what we do today. In a moment, some students will come forward and they'll be reading some poems. Poems of poignancy, poems that have presence. My ask of all of you is that you remain as silent as you have as these three wonderful students come forward. They will speak words which have echoed over centuries, drawn from the tumult of war, but read right now by those who represent this very place. Thank you.
Jem Harris, Health and Social Care, Level 3, in Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row and row. Dalmarca placed in the sky, the lark still bravely singing, fly scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
Manuela Ado, Health and Social Care Level 1, for the fallen. They shall grow not old, as with that are left grow whole. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them.
Shannon Cooney, Level 3, Lest We Forget. Fighting for your nation for the future, cuts and bullet wounds need a suture. For the mental scars, they never fade, and some years, sleepless nights invade. And the enemy never stops firing bullets, you must not stop either, give your fullest. Over 100 years later now, we have not forgot how they courageously fought onto a shot. For their country and for our futures today, Thank them for the way they fought that day, so that we could live in peace with each other, so that we could live without harming one another.
Thank you. In a moment, we're going to be directing our eyes to the screen, which is to my left. And we're going to see how the students here have been creating and making poppies. Thank you. Thank you once again. One thing I would like to emphasize more than anything else is that this time here, this service, this act of remembrance has been formulated, created by the students right here at Stoke-on-Trent College. It has been done by their ingenuity, their courage, their creativity. For they have drawn from themselves that which is deep within. And that is vitally important to remember what this college is about. But the reality is thus, as I have mentioned prior, who are we without the past? Who are we without those who have gone before? Where we stand, many have stood. But this building here represents a new phase in the life of the college. But this place has a history, as we all do. We are products of it, for want of a better word. One of the buildings here, in the moment of it being demolished, names of young men who crossed these very shores, who left the boundaries of this city, but never returned, was left under the rubble of demolition. And like some things within this nation, we put it in a grave and we forget. But someone here did not. Someone here had the courage to reach deep down and pull from that rubble that which needs to be seen. Names that need to be heard, names that need to be read. For yes, they may be dead, but they live on in who we are now. So in a moment, I'm going to call upon one of the young pupils here to draw this cloth away, to unveil to you names that maybe at this moment may mean very little, but have done so much. Names which may be letters carved into a plaque, but pierce the heart of many mothers. What you are about to see is that which has been recovered from a building once demolished. But like the power of any resurrection, it is there to remind us of our common humanity. Anthony. In a moment, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, you're going to hear the names read. For it's not for me to read. For my lips will not do these names justice. But those you will hear read them, I wouldn't say our boys and girls, our men and women of this college, who speak multiple language, but they speak with one voice. And in doing so, you are going to see a glimpse of what men and women have fought for years. The harmony of difference and the potential within. Let not these names be wiped from your memory, but equally don't let them be seared. Let them be part of what it is to be a member of this college, to be part of that history. So in a moment, we turn once again to the screen on my left, and we are going to hear the names of these men who were part of what it was to be Stoke-on-Trent. But they heard the call, the clarion call of many a politician who may have sat in their office while they took the bullets. The clarion call of many decision makers who may press a button while others feel the pain of that decision. And again, as you've done so well, we remain in silence as those names are read. Please turn to the screen to my left.
Colin Dunn.
Ronald J. Walters.
Reginald R. Frost.
Daniel H. Gator.
Eric K. Mackinson.
Ronald Moyes.
George Parker.
Arthur J. Pierce.
Reginald Simcox.
Those names are now held and will remain within this college on a stand built by men and women of this college. For who they are a call to us now, not to repeat that, but to remind us of what sacrifice truly is. And maybe through that process, we will know, we will understand, we will recognize who we truly are and equally who we truly can be. Thank you. Thank you for remembering. Thank you for your silence, for the loudness of it was heard, hopefully not just here on earth, but beyond our mortal coil. In a moment, I'm going to ask those who will be laying wreaths to do so. First, I'll be asking the Deputy Lieutenant to do such, and that will be followed by the pupils here at Stoke-on-Trent College. The wreaths are a way of recognising nature's power to call us to remember. For on fields of death, life still came forth. Where blood was spilt, the blood-red colour of the poppy broke through that barrier, challenging us to recognise that nature's call is always to live on. And we do so, I pray, with a humility which allows us to recognise sacrifice. Deputy Lieutenant, if you may. Thank you. We are challenged, one and all, by what has been read so eloquently. The silence we have held, the wreaths we have laid, the names that have been read. We are challenged, one and all, because what we are in is a reminder of the unresolved contradictions of our own humanity. I repeat, because it is a challenge to me, as I pray it will be to each and every one of you. For us to live in peace, we need to resolve our wars within our hearts and in our homes, in our colleges, in our churches, in our parliament, in our institutions. For many have died because we couldn't sort out what we could do here. But I do not say this as one who is laden with despair. I say it as someone who reaches deep into where hope remains. And hope remains in each and every one of our hearts. Hope remains in each and every one of who we are. For we have seen before our eyes words said, things read by those of us who come from the stream of nations. The harmony of difference to make the chord of hope. The challenge is that if I accept the contradiction within me, I pray I can begin to love you. Living with our differences is where peace begins. Living in our differences is where peace can start. For do we want another set of names, another plaque in 50, 60 years' time, brought from the rubble of what once was a place? It is a challenge. It is a struggle, internal as well as eternal, but one that we must do. But today we have remembered primarily so that it challenges us to work at and resolve the wars within. Let not these wreaths be in vain. Let not these names be read just the same. But let that which has been done challenge us to recognize the beauty, the potential, the delight in what it is to be a human being. To celebrate the differences. To recognize that in each and every one of us is the creative hope which has been placed in us since eternity began and equally to eternity ends. Today, you have seen that hope in action. For what this place represents is not just what Stoke will be, but what it is now. And it's not easy, but it does so in the face of pressure, but it does so recognizing that if we're not creative with each other, the thing we will do will be putting our hope in the ground. Let not what our men and women do far afield be a waste. But let those who do come home, and equally those who have not, know that they have fought for something, and equally some have actually died for something. Let it not be an empty gesture, but let it be something that challenges us to the core of our being. All of you have that hope within. All of you have that potential to draw peace within yourself. For as I say, it starts with us. We are coming near to the end of our time here. And it leaves me to thank all of you for your contribution, for your efforts, for your silence, for your words. You should all be proud. Whether you recognise your history and what we do or not, you are our present. Whether you see your face in those pictures or even within those names, you are our present. Whether you've placed a wreath or not, you are our present. Take what you've learnt today. Hold it tight. Remember those names. And challenge yourself in the contradiction of being a human being. Can we please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, friends, family, students, and our distinguished guests, thank you so much for coming here to Stoke-on-Trent College this morning. You have made not just your college proud, but your city proud, your home proud. But let not that pride be that of arrogance, but let it be a pride of hope. For the differences of who you are will make the rainbow of peace that we all need. Thank you so very much. Please do be seated.
If any of our guests would like to join us, there is coffee and tea and biscuits.